The authentic wise man, the one who remains firm in the face of the vicissitudes of fortune, whose prudence is unshakable, and who does not allow himself to be dominated by emotional impulses, nor is he shaken in the face of adversity, is truly the bringer of good fortune. Seneca. In the complexity of existence, learning to cultivate stability and balance is a continuous journey in search of tranquility and serenity. The Stoics, ancient philosophers whose teachings stand the test of time, offered valuable lessons on how to face everyday challenges while maintaining a resilient stance. In this video, we'll dive into 10 Stoic secrets that can illuminate our path towards self-mastery and resilience. Before we delve into these secrets, I recognize your commitment to constant personal growth. Therefore, I invite you to share in the comments the following phrase: "I am becoming unshakable." Repeating this affirmation daily is an empowering act that reinforces your determination and self-confidence. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, take this moment to join us and contribute your like. Together, we are paving a path towards a more promising future, where emotional control and wisdom are fundamental values. Now let's explore the first Stoic secret. 1. Be grateful. The practice of gratitude is a virtue that transforms our perspective on life and connects us deeply with what really matters. Stoic philosophers such as Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus emphasize the importance of cultivating gratitude as a powerful tool for finding contentment and inner peace. Gratitude is more than simply saying thank you for something we receive. It is an attitude of recognition and appreciation for everything we have, whether great achievements or small everyday joys. She teaches us to value the present and find beauty in the simple things in life. When we practice gratitude, we develop a more positive and optimistic outlook. Instead of focusing on what we lack or what we would like to have, we learn to value what is already present in our lives. This does not mean ignoring challenges or difficulties, but rather finding positive aspects even in the most difficult situations. Gratitude also helps us cultivate healthier, more meaningful relationships. When we express our gratitude to others, we strengthen bonds of affection and respect, creating an environment of support and harmony. Seneca said, "He who is grateful for what he has is always satisfied." This phrase highlights how gratitude is directly linked to inner contentment. When we learn to appreciate what we already have, we find a constant source of happiness that does not depend on external circumstances. Additionally, practicing gratitude helps us develop an abundance mindset. When we recognize the blessings and opportunities we have, we feel a sense of fulfillment and generosity, which motivates us to share our resources and abilities with others. Don't forget, gratitude is one of the Stoic secrets to a full and meaningful life. When we cultivate this virtue, we find an inexhaustible source of joy, contentment, and connection with the world around us. 2. Ignore other people's opinions. Detachment from other people's opinions is an essential skill for cultivating an authentic and resilient mindset. Stoic philosophers teach us not to be excessively affected by the judgment of others, not to constantly seek external approval, and not to shape our identity based on other people's expectations. This virtue is especially relevant in modern times, where social pressure and the search for external validation can be intense. Detachment from other people's opinions frees us to be faithful to our values, principles, and personal goals, even if it means going against the grain. Seneca said, "There is nothing shameful in preferring happiness to everything else." This phrase highlights the importance of putting our well-being and authenticity first, even if this means challenging social norms or facing criticism. When we practice detachment from other people's opinions, we develop greater confidence in ourselves and our choices. We do not constantly seek external validation to feel complete or fulfilled, but rather find our own internal validation, based on our integrity and authenticity. This doesn't mean being indifferent to others' opinions or neglecting constructive feedback. On the contrary, it means learning to discern between constructive criticism and unnecessary judgments, and not allowing other people's negativity to affect our self-esteem and self-confidence. Detachment from other people's opinions also helps us cultivate healthier and more authentic relationships. When we free ourselves from the need to please everyone and mold ourselves to be accepted, we create more genuine connections based on mutual respect and mutual acceptance of differences. Furthermore, detachment from other people's opinions helps us cultivate greater authenticity in our interactions and relationships. When we are true to ourselves, we are able to express our opinions and feelings clearly and honestly, without fear of judgment or rejection. Remember this powerful practice that allows us to live with more freedom, authenticity, and serenity. When we free ourselves from the need for external approval, we find an inexhaustible source of trust and integrity that guides us on the journey of self-knowledge and personal growth. 3. Live in the present. Living in the present moment is more than a mere expression. It is a profoundly transformative philosophy of life. This idea, so present in Stoic philosophy and other philosophical and spiritual traditions, invites us to delve into the experience of the now with full awareness and presence. When we adopt this perspective, we are led to let go of worries about the past and anxieties about the future. It's as if we were saying to time, "I am here, completely immersed in this moment, without letting myself be distracted by regrets or expectations." Living in the present moment requires a constant practice of mindfulness. It means being fully present in every action, every breath, every interaction. It's giving the present the importance and reverence it deserves, recognizing that it's the only truly real moment we have. When we connect with the present moment, we discover an inexhaustible source of wisdom and serenity. We find beauty in the little things, in the everyday details that often go unnoticed. It is as if life unfolds before us in its fullness, revealing itself in all its complexity and simplicity at the same time. Furthermore, living in the present moment frees us from the constraints of the past and worries about the future. We are no longer trapped by past regrets or future anxieties. Instead, we are rooted in the here and now, ready to consciously and creatively respond to the demands of the moment. This practice teaches us to accept the impermanence of life and embrace the beauty of the present moment, even if it is fleeting. It's as if we say to time, "I am grateful for this moment, for this experience, for this breath." And in that gratitude, we find a deep inner peace and a sense of fulfillment that transcends the concerns of the outside world. Living in the present moment from a Stoic perspective is brilliantly illustrated by Marcus Aurelius in his Thoughts for Myself. He reminds us, now lose the concept of, "I should have done this," or "I should have done that." Everything you have done so far is a preparation for the here and now. The present moment is everything you has, and all you have is all you need to fully engage in life. This quote invites us to set aside the weight of the past and projections for the future, recognizing that the present is where our power and our ability to act reside. It is an invitation to fully engage in the present experience without allowing ourselves to be distracted by regrets or worries. The Stoics teach us that true freedom lies in accepting the present moment as it is, with all its imperfections and challenges. It's finding inner peace in recognizing that we can't control everything, but we can control our response to what happens to us. When we live in the present moment consciously and fully, we discover an inexhaustible source of serenity and contentment. Every breath, every gesture, every word becomes an expression of our presence and our connection with life in its entirety. Thus, Marcus Aurelius' quote reminds us that the present is where life truly happens, and it is there that we find the key to a more meaningful and fulfilled existence. 4. Understand impermanence. Understanding impermanence, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us in the quote, "Everything is ephemeral," is one of the most profound lessons we can learn on the journey of life. It invites us to recognize that everything we experience in this world is subject to change, transformation, and eventual disappearance. This understanding helps us cultivate a mindset of healthy detachment towards material and external things. Accepting the transitory nature of life is one of the fundamental principles of Stoic philosophy, which teaches us not to become overly attached to things that are beyond our control. This does not mean devaluing or denying the importance of material things, but rather recognizing that they are fleeting and cannot provide us with a lasting source of happiness and fulfillment. When we understand impermanence, we learn to value each present moment as a precious and unique gift. This helps us live with more gratitude, presence, and awareness of the present moment, knowing that it is fleeting and will not return. Furthermore, understanding impermanence helps us deal with life's losses and challenges in a more resilient and compassionate way. When we recognize that everything in life is temporary, we are able to face difficulties with more courage, acceptance, and serenity, knowing that they are also temporary. Marcus Aurelius's quote is a powerful reminder that life is a constant flow of change, and that we need to learn to flow with this current rather than resist it. When we accept the impermanence of life, we find greater inner freedom and an ability to live with more lightness, detachment, and peace of mind. Accepting impermanence does not mean devaluing the good things that life offers us, but rather appreciating them even more for their fleeting nature. Every moment of joy, every meaningful relationship, every personal achievement becomes more precious when we understand that they are temporary, and we must make the most of them while they are present in our lives. Impermanence also teaches us to deal with adversity and loss in a more resilient and compassionate way. She reminds us that difficulties are like passing clouds that eventually dissipate, and that even in the darkest moments, there is the promise of light and renewal. Marcus Aurelius's phrase invites us to transcend the illusion of permanence and embrace the reality of impermanence as an integral part of human existence. She inspires us to live with more awareness, gratitude, and presence in the present moment, knowing that everything we have is now and that we must value each moment as a unique gift. Don't forget, understanding impermanence is a journey of awakening to the essential truth of life. It invites us to live more wisely, authentically, and lovingly, knowing that, in the grand spectacle of existence, we are all part of a constant flow of birth, growth, change, and transformation. 5. Seek self-knowledge. The search for self-knowledge is an inner journey of discovery and deep understanding of who we are, our motivations, fears, desires, and deepest values. It is a path of exploration of the mind, heart, and soul, which leads us to greater clarity about our identity and purpose in life. This search invites us to look inside ourselves with honesty and courage, facing our shadows, recognizing our virtues, and accepting our imperfections. It leads us to question our beliefs, thought patterns, and behaviors, seeking to understand what really drives and limits us. Self-knowledge also involves the practice of self-observation and constructive self-criticism, which allows us to identify repetitive patterns in our thoughts, emotions, and actions, and to seek ways to transform them in a positive and constructive way. Furthermore, the search for self-knowledge leads us to explore different tools and practices that help us deepen our understanding of ourselves, such as meditation, introspection, therapy, the study of philosophy, and the search for experiences that challenge and strengthen us. Take us beyond our comfort zones. When we know ourselves more deeply, we develop greater authenticity and integrity in our lives, living according to our highest values and principles. This helps us make decisions that are more aligned with who we really are and cultivate more meaningful and authentic relationships with others. The search for self-knowledge, according to the teachings of renowned Stoics such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, is a journey of self-discovery and inner transformation. They teach us that true wisdom lies in knowing ourselves, in understanding our strengths and weaknesses, and in living according to our highest principles. Marcus Aurelius reminds us of the importance of knowing yourself, a maxim that echoes from antiquity as a fundamental principle for a full and meaningful life. This quest is not only about discovering our personal characteristics, but also about understanding our connection with the universe and our responsibility to contribute positively to the common good. Seneca invites us to deeply reflect on our values and priorities in life. He reminds us that no one can be free if they do not master themselves, highlighting the importance of self-control, self-discipline, and the pursuit of moral excellence as paths to true inner freedom. Epictetus teaches us about the importance of questioning our perceptions and thoughts, seeking a true understanding of who we are and the world around us. He reminds us that it's not things that disturb us, but the view we have of them, highlighting the importance of self-transformation and changing perspective as powerful tools for achieving inner peace. The search for self-knowledge, inspired by the teachings of the Stoics, is a journey of continuous growth, constant learning, and personal improvement. She challenges us to face our fears, overcome our limitations, and live according to our deepest values, inspiring us to be the best version of ourselves and contribute positively to the world around us. 6. Practice self-discipline. The practice of self-discipline is a cornerstone in building a full and meaningful life. Stoic philosophers teach us that self-discipline is not just a matter of willpower, but rather a skill that can be cultivated and improved over time. It means having control over our thoughts, emotions, and actions, and directing them in accordance with our highest values and goals. This involves establishing healthy habits, staying focused on priorities, and resisting temptations and distractions that can take us away from the path we choose to follow. Epictetus reminds us, "Discipline is the mother of success." This phrase highlights how self-discipline is fundamental to achieving our goals and realizing our maximum potential. It helps us overcome procrastination, laziness, and lack of commitment, and motivates us to act consistently and determinedly towards our goals. Furthermore, self-discipline helps us develop greater self-confidence and self-esteem. When we are able to fulfill our commitments and maintain our standards of excellence, we strengthen our integrity and our ability to face challenges with resilience. Self-discipline is like the anchor that keeps our vessel steady amidst the storms of life. She teaches us not to let ourselves be carried away by the winds of impulsiveness or the currents of indecision, but rather to remain firm on our route, guided by the compass of our values and principles. When we practice self-discipline, we develop a greater ability to resist immediate temptations in exchange for long-term rewards. This requires a keen awareness and a firm commitment to our highest goals and purposes. Remember, self-discipline is a journey of self-improvement and personal growth. When we cultivate this virtue, we strengthen our ability to act with integrity, excellence, and purpose, becoming true masters of our own lives. It empowers us to live authentically and fulfilled lives, reaching our full potential and leaving a meaningful legacy on the world. 7. Control your emotions. Controlling emotions is a fundamental principle for achieving a balanced and serene life. Stoic philosophers teach us that it is not external circumstances that disturb us, but rather the way we interpret and react to them. Therefore, learning to control our emotions is essential to developing a resilient mindset and lasting inner peace. Stoic philosophy does not deny the importance of emotions, but guides us not to be dominated by them. Instead of reacting impulsively to events, we are encouraged to cultivate emotional awareness and choose our responses consciously and thoughtfully. Epictetus reminds us, "It is not the things themselves that trouble us, but the opinions we have about them." This phrase highlights how our thoughts and interpretations can profoundly influence our emotions and reactions. When we question our beliefs and mental patterns, we can transform our emotional experience and find greater inner serenity. Controlling emotions does not mean repressing or denying our feelings, but rather developing greater emotional understanding and management. This involves practicing acceptance of emotions, allowing ourselves to feel them without being overwhelmed by them, and developing healthy strategies for dealing with them constructively. Furthermore, controlling emotions helps us cultivate more harmonious and empathetic relationships. When we are able to control our own emotional reactions, we are better able to understand and respond appropriately to the emotions of others, creating deeper, more meaningful connections. Controlling emotions invites us to find inspiration in the stories of individuals who faced monumental challenges with serenity and courage. An inspiring example is that of Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the Nazi concentration camps, who wrote about his experience in the book In Search of Meaning. Even in the face of extreme adversity, Frankl found a source of inner strength by maintaining control over his emotions and finding meaning in the midst of suffering. Another example is that of Nelson Mandela, a South African leader who spent 27 years in prison for fighting against apartheid. Mandela demonstrated remarkable emotional control by maintaining his determination and resilience during years of unjust incarceration, and then, by becoming president of South Africa, he promoted reconciliation and national unity rather than allowing himself to be consumed by hatred and resentment. These examples show us that controlling emotions is not just about repressing or denying our feelings, but rather about transforming our emotional experiences into sources of learning, growth, and inspiration. When we cultivate this skill, we become better able to face life's challenges with dignity and wisdom, and to find deeper meaning in our experiences. Seneca's quote, "Wisdom consists in controlling emotions, not suppressing them," highlights the importance of developing a healthy and balanced relationship with our emotions. When we understand and manage our feelings in a conscious and compassionate way, we can live with more inner harmony and contribute positively to the world around us. That's why it's important to remember, controlling emotions is a journey of self-discovery and self-transformation. When we learn to master our emotional reactions, we find a source of inner power that enables us to live with integrity, serenity, and compassion, inspiring not only ourselves, but also those around us. And do you have control of your emotions? Be sure to comment and reaffirm the following phrase: I have power over my emotions. It is powerful to declare this every day. 8. Accept what cannot be changed. This principle, based on the ideas of Epictetus and other Stoic philosophers, is fundamental to developing a resilient and balanced mindset. Epictetus taught that many things in life are beyond our control, such as the actions and choices of others, unexpected events, and even some personal circumstances. However, he stressed that the only thing we have true control over is our own mind, our attitudes, and our responses to situations. When we accept what cannot be changed, we release a heavy load of worries and anxieties. This does not mean passive resignation, but rather a realistic understanding of our limits and the circumstances that are beyond our control. This allows us to direct our energy towards what is within our control: our choices, thoughts, and actions. This acceptance is not a surrender, but rather an act of wisdom and inner strength. It means facing reality as it is, without excessive resistance or illusions of absolute control. This mentality enables us to better deal with adversity, find creative solutions, and maintain serenity even in the midst of chaos. This acceptance of what cannot be changed is also linked to the concept of detachment, so present in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics teach us not to become overly attached to external results or situations that are beyond our control. This does not mean that we should be indifferent or passive, but rather that we should learn to deal with circumstances in a more balanced and conscious way. When we accept that not everything is under our control, we develop a greater capacity for adaptability and flexibility. This allows us to deal with changes and unforeseen events in a more calm and effective way, without letting ourselves be overly shaken by life's fluctuations. Furthermore, accepting what cannot be changed helps us direct our attention and energy to what really matters: our values, principles, and personal goals. When we stop worrying about what is beyond our control, we gain clarity and focus to invest our efforts in what we can positively influence. This mindset also helps us develop greater empathy and compassion as we recognize that everyone faces challenges and limitations. When we accept our own limitations and those of others, we cultivate healthier and more respectful relationships, based on mutual understanding and acceptance of human beings as a whole. Don't forget, accepting what cannot be changed makes us more resilient, compassionate, and aware. It is one of the fundamental pillars of Stoic philosophy, which guides us in the search for a balanced, authentic, and meaningful life. When we integrate this principle into our journey, we become truly steadfast in the face of life's pressures and challenges. 9. Value simplicity. The appreciation of simplicity is a fundamental aspect of the search for true inner happiness in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics invite us to find joy and contentment in the simple things in life, recognizing that true fulfillment is not in accumulating material wealth or constantly seeking fleeting pleasures, but in appreciating what is essential and meaningful. Valuing simplicity means slowing down the frenetic pace of modern life and taking time to contemplate and savor the present moments. It's finding beauty in the daily routine, in the silence of nature, in the company of loved ones, and in the small joys of everyday life. The Stoics remind us that happiness is not in having more, but in being more. It is cultivating virtues such as generosity, compassion, wisdom, and courage, which enrich our inner life and connect us with what really matters. When we value simplicity, we also develop greater environmental and social awareness. We learn to live more sustainably, consume consciously, and contribute positively to collective well-being. This allows us to live in harmony with the world around us and leave a positive legacy for future generations. Marcus Aurelius' phrase, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts," highlights the importance of cultivating a mindset of simplicity and gratitude. When we focus on positive thoughts, appreciating the little things, and valuing genuine relationships, we find an inexhaustible source of contentment and inner fulfillment. Valuing simplicity is like discovering a hidden treasure amid the hustle and complexity of the modern world. She takes us on a journey of rediscovery of the simple and essential pleasures that often go unnoticed in our never-ending search for more. Observe the people who choose to live in rural communities or in close contact with nature, seeking a simpler life connected with natural cycles. These people find joy in the simplicity of growing food, appreciating the beauty of the seasons, and sharing moments of conviviality and community. Valuing simplicity invites us to question the paradigm of the constant search for more things, more status and more power, and leads us to explore the deeper meaning of life. It teaches us that true wealth is not in material possessions but rather in meaningful experiences, authentic relationships, and a sense of purpose and connection to something greater than ourselves. Thoreau's phrase, "Simplify, simplify," resonates as a powerful reminder that the true essence of life lies in simplicity and the pursuit of inner harmony. When we value simplicity, we find a source of peace, contentment, and inspiration that transforms the way we live and connects us with what really matters in life. 10. Have resilience in the face of adversity. This is one of the fundamental pillars of Stoic philosophy and an essential skill to face life's challenges with wisdom and serenity. The Stoics teach us to not just endure adversity, but to transform it into opportunities for growth and inner strength. Stoic resilience is not based on the denial of difficulties or the absence of pain, but rather on the ability to accept what happens to us as an inevitable part of human existence. Epictetus reminds us, "Accept what happens to us as if we had chosen it." This means facing adversity with a mindset of learning and overcoming, instead of letting ourselves be overcome by self-pity or despair. This perspective helps us develop greater inner strength and a greater ability to adapt. Instead of feeling like victims of circumstances, we become protagonists of our own story, facing challenges with courage and determination. Stoic resilience also teaches us not to become overly attached to specific expectations or outcomes. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Accept with joy everything that happens to us." This does not mean passive resignation, but rather an attitude of acceptance and gratitude for what life offers us, even in the most difficult situations. Resilience in the face of adversity, from the Stoic perspective, is like a firm and robust tree that faces storms without losing its integrity. She teaches us that difficulties are not insurmountable obstacles, but rather opportunities to strengthen our soul and develop our inner wisdom. When we adopt a resilient stance, we transcend the notion of victimization and become the architects of our own destiny. We do not allow circumstances to define us, but rather our response to them reveals our true nature and inner power. Stoic resilience is not about denying pain or sadness, but about facing them with courage and serenity. It is understanding that life is a journey full of ups and downs, and that each challenge is an opportunity for growth and self-transformation. When we develop this resilience, we discover an inner strength that sustains us even in the most difficult times. We find a deep calm that allows us to face the storms of life with dignity and hope. Seneca reminds us, "Do not be ashamed to raise your head again, even after so many blows." This phrase inspires us to never give up in the face of adversity, to persevere with courage and determination, and to find strength in our own resilience. Don't forget, resilience in the face of adversity is an essential quality for a full and meaningful life. It empowers us to transform challenges into opportunities, to grow from each experience, and to live with authenticity, courage, and wisdom, regardless of external circumstances. By integrating these Stoic foundations into our journey, we acquire the ability to deal with the pressures of life in a more calm and balanced way, incessantly seeking the wisdom and serenity that strengthen us in the face of challenges. If you found this content and reflections helpful, consider expressing your support by liking it and turning on the notification bell to receive more inspiring content like this. Also, share this video with someone who could benefit from these timeless teachings. Did you stay until the end of the video? Comment on the following phrase, "Until the end," and I will be extremely grateful and happy. We value your active participation in this journey of self-discovery and growth. If you are not yet part of this community, I cordially invite you to sign up and be part of this space for critical thinking and personal evolution. See you soon.